Command, this is Alpha 1. The portal works. I have the blade.
So I set a challenge for myself. What I wanted to create here was a video that was maybe 20 to 30 seconds long, trying to make it as simplistic as possible as far as location where I was filming or the props that I was using, and see if I could use various AI tools to get me to kind of a finished piece that I was proud of, that I thought looked cool and cinematic and hopefully larger budget than what was actually put into it. Because for me as a filmmaker, I feel like that's half the fun, that's half the challenge, is figuring out how I can make something look broader and bigger than life and make it look like my budget was way higher than it actually was. So for this one, I thought it would be really fun if I was some futuristic soldier trapped in some sort of like ether plane, and there were creatures around me, and I was holding some sort of future sword, like a big blade that I found there. That was, maybe I was on like a task, on a mission to go retrieve this blade, and I find it and I'm waiting to get extracted, but then I have radio comms coming through my ear and they tell me, just kidding, you gotta fight your way out. We can't come and get you right away. So that was kind of the general premise that I thought would be kind of fun. And one thing I like to do is a lot of my videos that I work on, it's just me. Like I do have friends that I collaborate with, actor friends and stuff, but a lot of times I just need to get something done quickly, or have an idea in my head and I have a couple hours. And so it's best to just run out. I'll just do it myself. I'll just shoot it myself. And this was no exception. I figured I would just run downstairs, root through all of my gear. I had plenty of random tactical gear and a black hoodie that I had. So then I had my character and my costume and I was ready to go. So for this particular short film, I knew that I was going to be on camera and I was going to be talking to like a command center, to someone on the other end of the radio. And I needed comms back and forth. And for that, I used AI for the other voice across the line. And that leads us right directly into today's sponsor, which is Motion Array. This company just released a brand new voiceover text AI feature on their website that is honestly mind-blowing. Within literally seconds, I could go to their website, I could go to their voiceover tab, right in there, I could type in the voice lines that I wanted from my commander, hit generate, and instantly it gave me a voiceover. But from there, it actually gets even wilder because they also have a long list of different voiceover options. So you have male, female, you have more aggressive, you have more passive, you have like whisper speaking, more documentary style, more aggressive like sports action style. So what was super useful and a huge time saver for me is I was able to type in my script, and then right from there, I could toggle on different voice options and try out different voices. From there, I was able to adjust the speed. So I actually upped the speed a little bit, and then you can actually change the emotions. I was able to toggle on a little bit more of an anger option, so it feels just a little bit more aggressive. And it's just so incredibly useful that I can now do this with basically a push of a button and try out so many different options, see what works in my video. And once you have a final voiceover that you love, it is as simple as clicking download and dragging and dropping it from your folder into your editor and onto the timeline. And you can even still apply any sort of post effects that you normally would like to. So in this case, adding a little bit of a radio chatter to the voiceover to really make it sound like it was coming through radio chatter in my in-ears. So yeah, definitely head on over to motionarray.com, go to the voiceover tab, type in the script, try it out, try out a few different voices. You can see literally how easy it really is and how cool it sounds when you start getting different variations. So I decided to do something a little bit different for this video. Once I had my camera set up, I decided not to set up a blue screen or a green screen, which is typically what I would do for a project like this. I wanted to try something a little bit different with this one. So I filmed this outside up against a solid concrete wall. And it was a little bit of a challenge to myself to see if I could still get a really cool output, even with like a simpler setup than I normally would do. From there, I was able to film a handful of takes. I actually had my phone set up on a stand so I could press play and I could hear and have a conversation back and forth with the radio comms. So I was able to go through multiple loops of that until I got a performance that I was happy with and that I felt flowed the way that I would need it to. So from there, I brought my footage up, put it on the computer, and booted up After Effects. And their new rotoscoping feature is actually crazy. Their new roto brush. Whatever is happening under the hood, whatever kind of AI tech they have running under the hood with this thing is actually disgusting, because I could bring in my footage, I could roughly select myself and the weapon and the sword, and no matter where I was moving the sword, where I was turning my head, everything just tracked with those elements and those assets, even my hair. It perfectly cut me out. I would say perfectly. I would say 95% perfect. Every once in a while, you see like a little bit where it would fudge or round out a little bit, But truthfully, for the amount of time that it took and the fact that I didn't have to do a giant, huge green screen setup with lighting and all of that kind of stuff is very exciting. Things that used to take a long time, or I'd have to go in with a pen tool and manually cut out fingers as they were moving, it just tracks it. From there, I wanted a creature and I wanted a background. Now I knew that I was going to pull in my footage and some of my background elements into Unreal Engine because I love using Unreal Engine, but I wanted to save myself a little bit of time and have a bit of like a actual like far back scene, like a matte painting completed for me so that I didn't have to build out things way into the back. I could just create a few elements in the foreground. So in order to accomplish that, I headed over to Midjourney, typed in a bunch of different prompts until I found kind of a destroyed city with like some black tendrils on it that excited me. From there, I downloaded that shot, I pulled it into Photoshop, and I used generative fill to expand my frame and expand my canvas to be a lot broader. Next, I wanted a creature and a monster in the background for this video. So in order to achieve that, I headed back to Midjourney and I actually did some prompts for like a dark, evil, ghoulish creature. However, at the very tail end, I said, put it over a solid green background. So after a handful of prompts, I finally found a creature that I super loved that fit the vibe, not only of the world that I was trying to build, but also for like, just for this spot, like having some sort of like indiscernible creature. So I knew that I wanted this creature to move and walk around. So I turned to AI to help solve that problem. I used a website called HailUO AI, and I uploaded this image that I had finished and gave it a few standard prompts about like standing or slightly walking or turning, and it outputted some videos for me that were actually pretty decent. So from there, I downloaded those videos, and then I opened up Topaz, which is an upscaler, an AI upscaler program that I have, and I was able to pull in those files and upscale them all the way to 4K HD. So it sharpened them up, cleaned them up, added more detail. Now I had big 4K files of this creature. I could pull those back into After Effects, and I did a simple chroma key. I did a simple green screen removal, and now I had an asset of my creature walking, turning, standing, and I had a few videos of it that I can now pull into my scene as I built it out. From there, it really was just a simple matter of pulling in all those assets that I had created, pulling it into Unreal Engine. I built out a simple scene using some assets that I had left over from various other projects, some concrete slabs, some old trees, and I was able to put my matte painting, my background in the background and build the scene kind of out from there. So that way I had my whole back scene created and all the elements were kind of feeling good. From there, I was able to put myself in the scene. I was able to put the monster in the scene, put them in actual 3D space so that as the camera moved around, they would be in focus or out of focus depending on what I needed for the particular shot. I exported the individual scenes, edited everything out together to fit the timeline, made sure my voiceover was in there just the way that I wanted, and I was actually able to bring in sound effects and also a soundtrack right from Motion Ray. They have a huge library of both sound effects and soundtracks. You can select all sorts of different genres and styles. So I did like an action trailer style music, and then I searched for monster sound effects and got all sorts of cool little monster sound effects, a sword like shing sound. So once everything was compiled in Premiere, I hit render and I had a short film. I had a 30-second short film that I'm honestly super stoked on. So here, check it out.
Command, this is Alpha 1. The portal works. I have the blade. Awaiting extraction.
Negative, Alpha 1. No extraction yet. You'll have to cut your way out.
There's something out there.
Listen carefully, soldier. That blade has a history, a power. You're the first to wield it in centuries. The sword is drawn to combat. So keep moving and stay alive.
Very good. Copy that.
And that's it. What did you think? I would love to hear in the comments below what you think, what works, what didn't work. It's obviously not perfect, but I would argue that that's not what I was seeking out in this video. I was not looking to make a perfect video or something that could hold up on a broad scale. What I was really looking to do was see what AI tools were out there. What could I use to help enhance the storytelling or the creations that I already like to make? And how could I enhance them or speed up my workflow to make some more scenes that are bigger than life or that require less setup than they normally would previously? So yeah, huge shout out to Motion Ray. This new voiceover AI is actually insane. It's so versatile and so fun to use, and is already giving me all sorts of inspiration on what to tackle next and how to pursue some of my projects, or how to even just quickly put in temp VOs to get a feel for how something feels. And yeah, it's a bit of a game changer for me personally to have so many options directly at my fingertips so quickly. So yeah, let me know what you think, what worked, what didn't work, what you're excited about for the future as a filmmaker. For me, I just love all these tools, and I feel like there's a lot of really exciting things on the horizon, and these things are really fun, and it feels like it's unlocking all sorts of tool sets for me to create a lot of these visuals that are usually stuck in my head, and I can actually make them come to life now. It's all very exciting. As usual, I'll leave links in the description below to check out everything that I talked about today. And yeah, until then, I'll see you guys later. All right, see you.